Hello, welcome to the missed Zoom class video for Thursday, January 28th. So we did an emotional check-in and some Easter egg stuff. So just a reminder for announcements that progress reports are due next week on Friday. I'm going to give you some time on this Friday to make up any assignments and as well as next week, Friday as well. Right. So your Unit 4 periodic table tests have been released back to you. I'm going to give you the feedback if you're feeling a little stuck on how to complete the retake documents on Friday as well. And I also want to recognize that sophomores and freshmen, you are picking your courses either this week or later on next week. And for some of you, 2 weeks from now. And this Friday, I'm going to go over questions and give you general overviews of what courses you can pick, what courses you have first dibs in, so on and so forth. But if you have any questions pertaining just to you, feel free to email me and I will definitely respond. So we do have an Easter egg somewhere in our Schoology page and on our slides today. Your hint is how long can you last with the chicken? And this level is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so mainly today we're reviewing Nearpods 5.2 and 5.3, and then you are completing the launch. Right. So just to go over a couple of common errors I noticed, starting from lesson 5.1, some of you are drawing your Lewis dot diagrams like so. Please make sure to follow this outline in your notes, right? So things like calcium is in group 2A, so it has 2 valence electrons. So I'm going to draw the dots, one on top, so that's my first one, second one on the right. Right, so this will be my first answer. On the other hand, if you draw it something like this would also count as correct because when we're talking about atoms and elements, we're talking about real life, right? So just like you can turn around and have a side profile view, atoms can also turn. So if I just rotate and turn this over, right, it'll look like this. And if I rotate and turn this over, going clockwise, it will then look like this, so on and so forth. So all of these answers technically are also correct. Right, so just a heads up on that. So another common error I noticed was in Nearpod lesson 5.2. We're talking about when two atoms or ions combine. So here I have magnesium, Mg, and bromine. Let me actually show bromine in a different color. When these two combine, what will be their molecular formula? Right, so if I have Mg, I need to search for it on the periodic table. Mg has a charge of 2 plus. And if I look for Br or bromine, it is here. Right, so Br has a charge of 1 minus. So the next thing I need to do is to make all these charges add up to 0, and that will let me know how much of each I need, right? So here I need to have some number that's positive by either adding more Mg or adding more Brs. And here I need to have the same number but opposites, right? So I'm going to do that by adding more Mgs or more Brs. Since Br has a smaller number, this is positive 2 right now. So this is just negative 1. But if I add one more Br, then I get negative 2 or 2 minus. And here I get 2 positive. So they're the same number but opposite. Right? So essentially now I figured out my formula. So my formula is going to be one of these mg's. So mg, I don't need to write 1 on the bottom right because it's kind of redundant. And let's do green for the other one. So how many BRs did I use to make the charges equalize or add up to 0? Well, I used 2 BRs. So I'm going to write BR2. So just a point of clarification, we're not writing the charges on the bottom, so not the plus minus stuff. We're writing how many mg's we used. 1 mg, and how many BRs we used. So I used 2 BRs because I did this twice in order to get the charges to match up to each other. So my answer is going to be MgBr2. So the final thing, I didn't notice this too much in terms of errors, right? But essentially what I'm doing for this question in lesson 5.3, what would be the name of the molecular formula MgBr2? So I first need to look up what Mg is called and what Br is called. Right, so here, Mg is called magnesium, and Br is called bromine. So when I write their names together, Mg, after I looked it up, is magnesium. And Br2, I'm going to ignore the 2. It's called bromine, right? But since these two, like in the last problem, are combined together, we need to show that these two things are together. We can't just call them magnesium bromine. So the way to show that they're a couple or kind of together is to drop the last syllable of the second element. So bromine, ene is the last syllable. So we're going to cross that out and add ide instead. So bromine becomes bromide. So therefore, the full name of MgBr2 when they're together is magnesium bromide. So there are a couple of exceptions to this rule, specifically for these 4, mainly because if you drop the last syllable, you end it in a vowel. So oxygen, dropping gen, it's oxy. So they shorten it even more to oxide, right? Nitrogen is nitride, hydrogen is hydride, phosphorus is phosphide. So these don't follow the rule of step number 2. So keep that in mind. So once you're done reviewing this, or maybe you already know all these things, go ahead and work on your launch, and let me show you how to find that. So to find your launch, you're going to go onto your Schoology page, and go ahead and scroll down to today's folder. We're in week 4, Thursday class materials, January 28th. January 28th Zoom class links. Right. And if you click on link to the launch, you should be able to complete it here, and then go ahead and click on view score afterwards to see what score you got. And at the bottom of every question that's marked red for wrong, I will give you feedback. There's a link of a picture of me doing the problem. Okay, so once you complete the launch, that's pretty much it for today. And if you do have any questions, feel free to email me as always.